what am I going to eat leading up to it? I'm only going to have a couple drinks because I want to be able to have the food. And, like, just think about that process. Or, like, I'm going to a restaurant. Okay, I really want French fries, but I shouldn't eat French fries. Or
like,
maybe
or
I'll have
the
French
menu beforehand.
Yeah, maybe I'll have French fries, but it won't have dessert. Like, I just think about all that time spent worrying about it.
So much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this really reminds me of going through. I've struggled with depression for pretty much my whole life, and this really sounds a lot like what I went through when I started medication, which was just a year and a half ago now. And basically I've had multiple therapists over the years, and one of them said something that really stuck with me one time is like, when you have depression, or when you have this obsession or anxiety around something, it's like you're carrying an extra 100 pounds around with you all day. Everything you do is more exhausting than it would be for someone not struggling with that same thing. And it's just really taxing mentally and probably physically as well. So it seems like when you're able to let this go, then, like you said, your life expands, and some of those really important things that might have been on the back burner for so long, you can now flourish more. And I've found that true with my own, with now being on medication, and then also having gone through therapy for years. And I found that, I wouldn't have done this podcast if I was still where I was a year and a half ago. I wouldn't have as much of a client load or whatever. So it's like, there's so much more that's possible if you can let go of some of these things.
Yeah, I love that idea of letting go. That's my yoga background coming out. It's kind of a cliche at this point, but I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's much nice. I think it's much more positive than giving up or quitting.
Absolutely. I had this conversation with a client when we talked about letting go, and a lot of times with women, when they're working at losing weight, or they're working on the, like, people are like, nice job, like, oh, have you seen Becky, like, she's really, like, she's working out, she's on a diet, it's so great to see her like that, right? But then for the woman who's like, I'm sick of this BS, I'm not going to diet anymore, it's been 15 freaking years, it hasn't happened, I'm done with it, I'm moving on, that's considered like letting herself go, right? And I had a conversation with a client. I was like, let's talk about a phrase that we should be reclaiming. Yeah, I let myself, like, let yourself go. Like, ooh, let yourself be like yourself. Like, yeah, let yourself go. Right? It's like, to me, it's like a positive thing that we let go. Ooh, that we can allow ourselves to let go, because so much of this is this idea we're going to solve this quote unquote problem of our bodies by more control, more restriction, more rules, when in fact it is the exact opposite. And that is not to say, as Jen mentioned, intuitive eating does have 10 principles. You can think of them as steps. So I don't want people to get the impression like, okay, cool, intuitive eating, I'm just out there on my own, all nebulous and just like adrift. It's not like that. There are principles and there is some structure to it. But the idea being that the more we try to restrict and constrict, we will just fight against. We are designed evolutionarily to fight against that. And we need to know that and accept it and work within it.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you both so much for being on. I think this was a great discussion. I think we can definitely have some more, maybe a little more talk about intuitive eating or other topics. We were talking before this about training and whatnot, so I think we can definitely do this again, and I'd love to. Where can people find you? We've talked about Swole Sisters, but what platforms or what social media, where can people find you to?
Yeah, for Swole Sisters, if you're on Facebook, you can join the Swole Sisters Worldwide private Facebook, and we rant like this in our Facebook Lives on a weekly basis.
Yes, we do. So, it's delightful.
And we also have the Swole Sisters Worldwide membership, which you could message us about.
Well,
you go to SwoleSistersWorldwide.com, right? And
yes,
it's on there, the
we
membership.
We have a freaking website.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Swole Sisters Worldwide, and just so people understand, it is SWOLE, so that's how you spell swole. It's not really typical word, swolesistersworldwide.com. And we have all the information about Jen and I and how to join the Facebook group, or if you would like to become an actual member, to do that as well.
And the awesome Instagram page.
We have at Swole Sisters Worldwide is our Instagram handle. And then for me personally, Justine Z Coaching, and then Jen's is Iron Bunny Fitness for Instagram.
Yep, and you're going to have to message me if you want to know why the heck it's called that.
Yeah, it's a secret.
All right. Well, thank you both once again for being on, and we'll talk to you again soon. Swole Sisters Worldwide, folks. Thank you for listening as always. And if you want to learn more about your health, your fitness, feel free to go back and take a look, or a listen rather, at some of the prior podcast episodes of the Fortitude Training Podcast. We take a deep dive into strength training, and I have episodes with other folks, with a physical therapist, our owner at On Track, Brian Leffler, and a fitness inspiration, Keller Longchamp, who went from being an excruciating back pain to now a weightlifting inspiration to others. There's a lot of great content now. At this point, I think we have about over 7 hours of content, so check that out, and we hope to see you again soon. And get strong, live long.